When doing the rising block, you want to come up, act like there's a ball cap. I'm going to punch the ball cap up off your head. So it's coming up. Notice it's not crossing across my center and popping out like this. There are times to block in that direction there, but not for the rising block. The rising block is going to come straight up like this, and then it's going to turn over and pop over. Now, some schools will teach like this. Don't do this. We want this angle on the arm right here. So it comes up, and notice it'll actually go up and pop out and snap back to here. Some schools will just go right there and stop, but we want to pop out and send it back because we're striking with this thing. There's no attack coming down. We're trying to block here like this. Attack coming down or primary defense, get out of the way. So this is not being used like, oh, stop myself from getting hit right here, which this was a good way to break your arm. So you want angled in like this, protect that armpit. So you don't want this armpit like way exposed here. By doing this, the elbow drops down, closes off that armpit some, and again it extends through. The other thing to notice here, a lot of beginners will curl the wrist like that as they do it. You actually want to curl the wrist the other way. So you come here, right there. You can see the little curve, little curl to the wrist right there, and that goes into a hooking motion. So if I do need to remove a weapon from my body here, I got this hooking motion that I can go into to then trap whatever I got attacked by. Next one is a cross block. So on this cross block here, some schools will even come way up here and then come across like this. We don't want to just come straight across the body. There's times we'll just come straight across the body. But for this one, for our basics and orientation, we want to do this arcing path out and back in. So we're going to come quick up to here, close to the body, and just shoot it out like that. Okay? Here. Notice here I am crossing my center line, coming to the other side of my body. Also notice on my blocks, my shoulders turn 45 degrees. So even on the other one, the rising block, I'm not staying straight. I'm turning my shoulder. My navel goes to 45 degrees on these blocks. But anyhow, here on the cross block here like this, my fist, or my elbow is about a fist from my body here, okay? My basal knuckle on the index finger is about the same height as my shoulder. And at the end of this, I'm going to explain something called parallax, which is important. You need to listen to the parallax part, okay? This will then create about a 90-degree angle. But you'll see on the path of travel, instead of just coming straight across like this, I'm actually coming out and then coming back in. So there's an extension. See, my elbow is extending, then my elbow contracts as I pull it back in like that. Next one is down block. So when I'm doing my down block, you'll notice I have to come up here like this. This can be a protection to the side of the head here for one. The other thing, notice the other hand, if I'm going to like switch back and forth, there's a crossing here. So I'm protecting my whole center line. And this goes for any block, no matter which one I'm doing. I want to be covering my center line as I switch from one technique to another. But then with the down block here, ignoring what this hand is doing, it's going to come up here and it's going to shoot down to here. Now it's important that I'm angled from my body, that I'm not blocking down here like this. You'll see some schools, they'll block like this. We don't want to be that close. We want to be out here when we're doing our blocks. When we learn how to do a proper front stance, which you will learn as we go through, one of the lessons will be how to do a proper front stance. The angle that my thigh is going is about the same angle, so that the leg and the arm are parallel to each other whenever you're doing the block right there. Another thing, so like I said, when you come through here, as I go to switch, see this comes to center as I cover up my whole body and do the other side right there. Now, again, due to parallax, it looks like I'm blocking out to the side here. I'm actually blocking straight to my front here. I'm not going like way out here and back, just right there, a little bit past, and I snap it back at the end. So you go, there's a little pass and snap it back real quick, but not big exaggerated motion. So keep it tight, but you want a little bit of follow through at the end there, but keep it tight on all your blocks like that. Next one is outside middle level block. Now there's different types of these. I will call this a Seison block really often, but on some schools, they'll sit here and they'll block out and they'll just come straight up like this. Okay? The one we're going to do, actually going to reach out and pull back in. So just like the cross block, we come out and come back in, this This will come out, come back in. There are times where we'll use the exact same here and here. Most of the time we're going to come out and come out. We're going to be coming out. We're practicing the concept of intercepting fist also. So if I do have something coming in, now mind you, I'm not going to stay on line. I'm going to try to get offline as I'm making my blocks here. But I want the idea of intercepting the attack and then guiding it in. If I do like here and defend, I may not intercept their weapon at all. So I'm practicing the idea of coming out here and intercepting. That's why we're reaching out with this block here. We're practicing the idea of intercepting as we do it. Just like on the cross block. One fist away, the elbow to the torso. The basal knuckle is even with the shoulder. And again, pay attention to the parallax discussion at the end of this video. This will be about a 90-degree bend. And you notice when I go through the switch, this comes to the center as I'm going through to switch. Comes to the center as I go through to switch. Last block in this set is an upper level knife hand block that's reinforced or augmented, whatever you want to call it. It's just a supported block. But the idea on this one is it's just like this one here, but it's up higher and out to here, like this. Now you'll see that this hand here is supporting here. This is parallel with the ground, but I'm not straight up and down. I'm not maintaining that 90 degrees. There are times we'll block like this and maintain a 90 degrees. So this one will be out like a little bit right here. Now what you see is the distance to my fingertips will be the same. If I'm doing an upper level block, I lower it down to middle level. My fingertips will be the same distance from my body. If I lower it down to a down block, my fingertips will be the same distance from my body. And we can call this like a wall of defense if you want. If I were to put my hands onto a wall, you'll see the upper level I'm here. I lower it down to a middle level block. I lower it down to a down block. You'll see my fingertips stay on that door right there. Anyhow, the other thing we're practicing is the idea of going to the 45s rather than straight ahead. So you notice on this one here, we're actually going to look to the 45. After I look to the 45, they're going to go here. I then look to the other 45 and switch to here. So instead of coming from the hip on these ones, we're just going to switch from here to the other side. But we're practicing going to the 45s is what we're doing here. Now, the detail on this part here, you'll see on my fingers I got this little L shape here formed by that. This goes, if I go to the end of the bicep muscle where the bicep starts to go down towards the rest of the arm, that L part fits right into the bicep right there. An important concept is parallax. When you're learning from videos, you have to understand parallax. So I want you to look at something here. I'm going to put prayer hands up right here. It looks like my fingers are right in front of my throat, right? Now watch, I'm just going to turn sideways here. You'll look, they're not right in front of my throat. In fact, if I go up to here and bring this right up to my body and turn back to you, it's below my throat completely. This is an artifact called parallax. And it has to do with the viewing angle of the camera. I can't get my camera 100% absolutely perfect level in all directions. I can't get it perfect in this level. I can't get it perfect in that level. And I can't get the rotation perfect. So there's going to be an artifact due to the angle of the camera to my body. And since we have that artifact we have to deal with, you need to realize if I say this prayer hands here is not in front of your throat, even though it looks like, you need to pay attention to what I'm telling you, not what you think you're seeing on the video, because of this parallax artifact. So keep that in mind when you're learning from the videos here. Keep up the good work. And remember, at the end of each of these sets of 5, you do your little exercise routine there.